Hello. Welcome to our podcast. It is called Straw Hat Crusaders, and here we talk about stuff that is one guy likes One Piece and the other guys like JoJo, and we talk about it and we read. And I am so good at doing intros. So today
Do you want to start now?
Are you good?
No, they've got this. They've got this. Fine.
You got this.
Today,
Sponsored by Dr. Pepper.
It's fucking Jurassic Park, you guys. That's what happened. Next.
And Kakyoin learns about tea.
Oh, yeah.
Joseph's got a new outfit on a boat.
Zoro killed a child?
True.
Oh, yay. All of these things happened.
And who are you?
I'm Adriana. That's who I am.
Nice. I'm Clayton Chalman.
Josh.
Hayden Hartrick.
Nice.
We're so talented, all of us.
So talented.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, last time Clayton watched the the next 3 episodes of JoJo, so up until
Dark
Blue Moon.
So you watched
Tower of Grey.
Tower of Grey.
Yes.
Silver Chariot. And Dark Blue Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we read 2 more volumes.
Very uneven proportion
Right.
of content, but it's fine.
I mean, similar amount of time spent doing these 2 things. Because that's like about an hour of me watching 2 volumes, probably around an hour of y'all reading. We usually do more episodes anyway.
I'll be honest, I actually typically spend around 45 minutes to an hour reading 1 volume. Because when I do it alone. Because I really like to take my time.
Takes me
That's
about 5
good.
minutes.
One Piece
Well,
will
I'm a bigger
reward
fan
you.
Are
for
you
that.
reading the...
No, I swear, Clayton, I really feel like, actually, I don't know. Clayton, are you on your phone a lot when you watch JoJo lately, or have you been making...
Not really, because I would not be able to tell what they're saying. I was doing that.
Well, that's funny because a lot of people still
Exactly.
watch anime with subtitles and are on their phones, but
Yeah, I would never do that.
I've done it.
I've done it.
Oh, man.
you guys are uneducated. Well, Adriana will read so fast. I don't believe that they're reading, and I'm like, whoa, I'm still on the last 3. I'm 3 panels up. Like, how are you already there? That's because I act out the inflections of the characters in my head.
Oh, if I do that, it'll take me a billion years, though.
Whoa, Adriana doesn't do that.
What you guys do? Like, wait, okay, but...
We're performers. And
I think part of it is that I have
Wow! Hang on.
Wow.
Oh, so you're performers. Okay.
we were theater kids.
Uh-huh.
I'm just so familiar with the characters of One Piece, especially. I'm so familiar with what their voices sound
Right,
like
true.
that I always give them the little tones and like vocal characteristics and that kind of thing.
For me, it's like 50-50. There are chunks where I read with no inflection, and then there are moments that I read with like... I'm like, oh, I can hear the voices now, but it's not consistent. It's not every time.
There are
Not
only a
every
few
sentence.
moments where normally, like, the purposefully stand out or funny ones that I do that with. Wait, do you guys have an internal monologue when you read?
Yes.
Yeah, like, can you hear it? Like, you can't hear the words in your head. You just look at the words and you know what they are.
No, well, yeah, that's like I look at the word and then the visual of the word provides the meaning, not the sound of the word, if that makes any sense.
Because I hear it in my head when I read.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm like,
This
I can
is like
hear
a
it.
whole nother conversation too, but I've had this conversation with so many people. There are 2 different ways people think, which is like conceptually and verbal. Like you either have an inner monologue or you don't. And a lot of people do a combination, like the majority of people do a combination of both, but I just don't have any internal monologue.
Like anywhere in your life.
Like when I think like
if you think like hot dog and you go like,
I
can't
see
hear
a
it.
hot dog.
You can't hear it.
No, I
Oh,
think
so-
about the concept of a hot dog, and maybe I see a hot dog. Yeah.
Okay, so I've heard from a lot of people who can't see things in their head, but you can see things,
Yeah.
but you can't. Or
Oh, I
can't.
can
you
if I
can.
try.
Okay.
It's just
Okay.
not the default.
That's not how it is.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But that's
It's weird. When I hear words, I will think of this word spelled down in my head.
yes, I
Oh.
do that sometimes.
What?
Yeah.
often enough.
Like the picture.
The picture of the word, as if I zoomed into a book of specifically the word hot dog, and it flashes in
But
front of my head.
only specific.
Or random abstract shapes will sometimes take the place of a word.
Uh-huh.
Like I remember specifically the word stupid had a very specific. It looked like the cockpit of a helicopter, of a toy helicopter that I had.
Okay. Why?
Okay, this is like a different podcast we need to make.
Uh-huh.
And then I was cured one day. I found God. I don't know where I was going with that.
A friend of the show, or more friend of a friend of the show, friend of Hayden of Sepian, Josh Christmas, shout out. I
not
think
real.
this is him. He has a story that he would tell when back in our stand-up days of he was eating a burger and he was eating a cheeseburger and
That's not the funny part, Josh. Josh, he is
cracking the fuck
losing
up.
it over a hamburger. Really?
It's kind of
That
funny.
wasn't the joke, man.
It was the way you
eating
said
a
it.
burger.
I don't know. The word burger, if said the right way, is hilarious. And you just said it in the. You just said it the right way. He was eating a burger.
Well,
and there
you're
was just enough of a pause to where I could linger on that.
You're gonna love this part. Then he was eating a hamburger. Sorry, a cheeseburger, and he bit into it. And while that was happening, he had a seizure. And hold on, it's still not the joke, Josh. He had a seizure, and while he was having that seizure, his vision, he completely lost vision, and all he could see was, he couldn't see or hear or experience anything. He just saw in his mind a neon, like, the word cheeseburger, like in 3D neon in his mind. And then he woke up on the ground.
Oh my god.
How long did he only see that?
I don't think it was long. I just like it because it was like the texture didn't load or something, and it was like cheese. There's a cheeseburger in your mouth.
The fucking live feed just lagged. That's so good. Oh my
Yeah.
god. I'm sorry, Josh Christmas. You have an epic last name.
He does. Everybody calls him Christmas, and it's so cool. Maybe we may have to bleep that out. I don't know if he'd like his name being said on a podcast.
That's fucking crazy. That happened.
Well, some
to
people
him.
are like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway. Well, fucking anyway. Yeah. Some of us read fast and some of us read slow.
Yeah.
And
all of us are people. We're all humans.
All of us are
We're all
people.
in this together.
Yeah.
And we're all
And that's
and
really
we're
what
all
matters.
and we're all
We all love each other.
we love each other, and we're some of us like one thing, one of us here likes the other. We
That's true.
share them, and we're gonna talk about, I think, the thing that three of us are well familiar with.
Can I, before we get to that, I had
Oh,
a
yeah.
thought. I wanted to
Think.
propose a short little topic of conversation before
Beautiful.
we get into things.
Beautiful.
Because I think in both series, we're not just, I think we're not into anything that's like way too meaty. I was
Like a
curious. I just wanted
cheeseburger.
to know, like a cheeseburger. You ever seen Pink Panther? He goes, hamburger.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I would love to know. This is a podcast where we talk about anime and manga, and I would love to know what are, other than JoJo or One Piece, what's everybody's favorite anime?
Oh.
I think Adriana might have the same answer.
Maybe.
Then say it on 3. 1.
Well, you go first, Hayden.
Wow. Wow.
Hayden,
Wow.
Go
okay.
first.
All right. All right.
Wow.
I have
his beatbox.
I get. I think because
Hey, it's
Did you
okay, man.
did you ever if you could
If you
have
could
if you
even
could
one
and
of
did you
the
ever
even back. Josh and Adriana, you go real quick.
Okay.
I got a thing for a minute.
I don't know. On 3,
Okay, I'll
are we
do-
gonna say it?
Sure. Okay. 1,
2,
2,
3. Mob Psycho 100. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I think pretty easily. That's. I like some other. I've seen enough anime. I think Adriana's seen maybe more anime than I have.
Definitely, yeah.
And I haven't read much manga at all outside of JoJo and One Piece.
yeah.
Want to change that though. Following this, I just love reading manga now, so I'm gonna want to read more.
I don't read a lot of manga either. The most memorable. Yeah, I don't think I ever did. I read that Junji Ito like story, the
Spiral?
Amigara Fault.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah,
Is that
that
the one where the people go in the holes?
Yes.
What
This-
happens
this
with
is my
that?
hole.
Why are the holes there?
Am I just gonna explain the whole plot
Why
on
don't
this?
we
okay,
just talk
okay.
about
We can talk about it
why
later. We can
Mob
talk about it
Psycho
later.
100 is our favorite.
It's good.
If you have not
Yeah.
seen Mob Psycho 100,
I haven't.
Me.
do yourself a favor and watch it immediately. It is the whole thing is 37 episodes, the whole thing, all 3 seasons. It is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
If you like One Punch Man, it's a lot like that, but more character focused. It's also beautifully animated, and the fights are amazing. The characters are fantastic. You've probably heard of Reigen Arataka.
Yeah.
He almost won Tumblr Sexy Man recently,
Uh-huh.
but he didn't, and the queen died as a result. So if that doesn't make you interested, I don't know what will.
Yeah. Honorable mention though, Soul Eater was one of the first animes I watched, and it still holds a good place in my heart. But actually, the first anime ever was Ouran High School Host Club.
Oh,
And
wow.
that will forever be icon. Like, it's such an iconic show. I will always love it.
Yeah.
It's
Hell
so
yeah.
funny.
I gotta watch all of that at some point
Yeah.
because I saw you showed me the first few episodes, and I was like,
Also, I've also been subjected to forced to watch the first few episodes.
But not
But it-
finished. You didn't.
but it
finish
was
I did
fun.
not finish.
It was very fun.
I
What
did
about
not
you,
get nearly
Clayton?
horny enough.
You just heard.
Or on High School Host Club?
Yeah.
Yes, I watched that in high school with my dear friend Brooke because she
Nice.
loves
Mm.
Ouran High School Host Club.
Aside from Mob Psycho, since we both have the same one, do we want to? Oh, well, I guess you already said that. My honorable mention would probably be, this is gonna be fucking lame, but probably Chainsaw Man season 1.
It's really good.
It's fucking so good. That or One Punch Man season 1.
Oh,
One
yeah.
Punch Man is really good.
One Punch Man is really. I mean, even season 2, it's like the
haven't
writing's
watched
still
season 2
good.
yet.
The animation's average, but like, because and compared to the first season, it looks kind of like shit. Because the first season's so incredibly animated, but One Punch Man's fantastic.
Yeah.
If depending on how long it takes season 3 to come out, I might pick it up in the manga.
Hey, yeah.
Nice.
Hayden, did you?
Yeah, I think I know. So I haven't seen some of like the newer ones that I know I'm gonna love. Like I haven't watched Chainsaw Man yet, but I know I'm probably gonna like that one because it seems up my alley. Mine is one of the first animes I've ever watched. It still holds a very special place in my heart. And that is Gurren Lagann.
Oh.
Gurren Lagann.
Yeah,
I
I've
That
heard of
makes
that.
sense
I
for
love
you.
a good big
Yeah.
robots punching each other. I don't know if it holds up because I haven't watched it in probably at least like 6 years.
Studio
But
Trigger, right? Studio Trigger did that
Yeah.
one?
I don't know.
I think so.
I was like
It looks
16
like it.
when I watched it. But it's really good. It's really iconic, and it's a good. It's also one of the short. It's a 24 episodes.
Really?
Yeah, it
Whoa.
is. It
I
is.
thought there were many
really,
seasons, like different. There were
It seems really long, but
No.
no.
It's really a fast watch. I recommend it. I check it out. We should watch it together.
oh,
We should watch every anime ever together.
I think so.
And Clayton,
I think
Clayton,
so.
Clayton, what's yours?
My favorite. These are going to be pretty basic answers. I'm not super. I'm not a big anime guy. Death Note is amazing.
Oh, I
It's
forgot
incredible.
about Death Note. It's so good.
mid.
is
The musical
mid.
just had a
Pretty
revival.
up there. Yeah. I don't know anything about the
Me
musical.
neither.
But I like Death Note a lot. I think I would give an edge to I would kind of goon for. I've read all of the Chainsaw Man manga, and it's just so good. Season 1 is like good, but it like hardly scratches the surface
so
of like how
excited
good the
about.
fucking series gets.
Damn.
And that would probably be mine. I really like Hunter x Hunter too, but
Yeah.
I have a friend that is really into Hunter x Hunter, and he's
Yeah.
tried to get me to watch it a bunch, but it's just
It's so long.
it's one of those things where it's like thousands of episodes, or not thousands of episodes, hundreds of
Yeah.
episodes.
I think it's 130 something episodes. But good
Oh.
news is, just read the manga. Don't watch the anime.
Yeah,
Well,
fair
the
enough.
manga is just.
I'm gonna say that to
Some of
everyone.
some of the pages are just
People
are just.
bitch and
Paragraphs.
whine and moan about
Yeah.
that. But okay, actually, that does become a problem in the newest arc, where it's like words taking up whole pages. But
He's
that
sick.
doesn't start happening
The
until very
yeah.
recently.
The mangaka is like
It's still
his
going?
health is.
yeah,
It picked
Yeah,
up after
it's
this
still going.
very long hiatus.
anime's coming back too.
Whoa,
Wow.
What?
But fuck all that noise.
fuck it.
Fuck it.
What
We're
are
gonna
we-
talk about peak.
Yeah. Yeah, we're here to talk about the peak of all fiction,
Jojo.
Deep Blue Moon,
Yeah, best character.
Dark
in all of
blue
reality.
moon.
Deep Blue Sea.
Deep blue sea, dark blue.
Yeah, it
sea
probably
moon.
got. Did it get localized or did you just?
Oh, you ever see Moon?
No.
That's what I pull out my butt.
That's a
pull out your
literally
Oh, you
a
got
fucking
literally
spoiler,
a spoiler
Hayden. That's
for
a
when
fucking
that
spoiler.
guy pulls out his butt.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I know Clayton's seen it. Clayton's seen
Whoa.
every character's ass.
Yeah. On Google.com.
Yeah.
So let's start off nice and slow.
Yeah.
So you watched the next three
Yes.
episodes 4 through 6 of part 3.
4 through 6, I saw
Uh-huh.
Tower of Grey.
Whoa.
Well,
I s-
well, sorry. I just wanted to get your initial impressions of just this little batch of episodes.
This little batch of episodes was not as good as the first 3, but they were fun.
Yeah.
There were some bits that I was really not into. I think I've not yet seen like a proper stand battle, I assume.
You have not.
And that's okay. I think they kind of probably need to do this a little bit before they get to that.
Does a proper stand battle even exist, though? That's the real question.
Whoa, okay. I'm going to stop watching that.
Do better ones exist? Absolutely.
Okay. So there was a lot of stuff that I thought was fun. There was a lot of stuff that I thought was dumb, which is good. There was some stuff that I thought was dumb in a way that was bad.
Yeah.
Most importantly, I'm starting to get to know the characters a little bit more.
Yes.
That is
For sure.
quite fun.
Yes.
So overall,
Aren't they so
I'm
much
having fun. I'm at a place in the series where I very much, unlike season 2, I feel safe. Even when things are not awesome, I am more like, oh, I didn't like that, and less like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how part 3 comes across to a lot of people.
Yeah. I am. So with that, I saw. Should we get into my
episode by
3
episode.
Yeah.
individual battles?
Yeah, so Greyfly, you pointed this out when we were talking earlier about this episode.
Uh-huh.
You were like, why is Okay, so they're on a plane.
They're on a plane.
They're on a plane, and there's all of a sudden a bug
There's
stand
a bug
that they
the
need to fight.
Tower of Grey.
And the stand user is on the plane.
Yes.
And you noticed something very peculiar about that whole situation.
Yes. So we get his intro is the reason he's the Tower, because Tower is like the card is like a symbol of doom, and specifically the end of a journey. A
Right.
lot of times people take that to mean death in general.
Just like aggressive change, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it's one of the most like dreaded cards in tarot reading. And so when we get his intro, it's all like
Avdol goes into detail.
yes, Avdol goes into detail about all the basically like terrorist attacks that this guy's done, of like trains explode. He's done like Mr. Glass type shit. Spoilers for Unbreakable. And he's like making these trains crash. He's making these boats explode. He's making these planes crash. And I would certainly assume that this is all by way. In fact, I think it is stated this is all through the stand, Tower of Grey, because nobody even knows who this guy is. For stands, you have to be like close to them to use them. How the fuck is he making these planes crash while being on them, and then I guess like jumping off all of these things as they're exploding or sinking in the ocean?
Good question. Well, I mean, there is an emergency escape. Here's what I think as you're saying that right now, which I never thought of, but here's my first thought to what that could be happening. It explodes. He's in the air, right? Now, this is not just a normal bug that flies. It's a ghost bug. You know what I mean? It's a special bug guy.
It carries him.
Yeah. Maybe it carries him away. Maybe, you know?
That seems like something that
if
it needed to be assessed, Araki would have drawn the fly, the little fly carrying the old man by his like underwear or something.
No problem.
It is a very strong fly, as you are able to see.
It's a beetle, actually.
Yes,
it's a beetle.
It's a beetle, and that what I thought was interesting is like its whole thing is that it makes all these things crash, and like that's why it's so scary. Is it fucking like kills people and makes stuff explode and crash and stuff. But its means for doing that is by ripping out people's tongues.
Yeah,
it's
basically what a really angry guy could do with a fork if he wanted to.
But a really angry guy with a fork would get caught. And this guy clearly has never gotten caught.
Because he kills all his witnesses and he makes a bug do it.
Yeah.
Double security.
Important, I guess he hasn't explored the range of stands yet, or how some standers have different ranges, like distances they can be from their stands to use. Doesn't really come up in this fight. That will come up later.
Yeah.
Kakuin, for instance, he can use his stand from a very long distance away.
Okay.
But which
depends on it's explained.
Close range.
Who explains it and when is it explained about the range thing?
The
I
range
feel like
thing,
Joseph or Abdul explained
it. It kind of just morsels of facts about it get dropped throughout part 3, and then in part 4 I think they cover it more specifically, or I don't know. It keeps getting like re-upped. The main point being, if you have a really strong stand, it's typically you have a very short range. If you have a more fluid or weaker stand, typically very long range, and then adjust by ratio of distance to strength. But it gets more difficult as the stands become more abstract to really quantify that. And then, like you'll notice. I don't know if you've noticed, but like during cut scenes or during transitions between scenes, or like on the commercial break, you'll notice like a stand,
and it's got a little graph
with a stats thing, right? That I don't think is translated.
No.
Don't worry about that. Ultimately,
none of that shit means anything.
None of that shit is. All that stuff is very hard to actually apply to a lot of the stands, and is virtually meaningless.
That's like it's telling you the stand's MBTI score, which is like, it's a little something, but take it with a grain of salt. You know.
At some point, Araki realizes that like he doesn't even like doing that for the stands and just stops doing it altogether. So don't take that. The story will tell you everything you need to know about how much and what the stand can do.
Cool.
In this instance, Tower of Grey is super fast and hard to catch. Even Star Platinum cannot lay a finger on this fucking thing.
Even Emerald Splash from Hierophant Green. Even.
So true. But that's kind of the ploy, right? Because our boy Kakuin has his little moment to shine.
But before he does that, Avdol gets very close to exploding the whole fucking plane.
That's awesome.
He's like, stand back. I'll use a fire explosion in the middle of this plane.
And they're like,
which
no.
Would have worked,
probably.
Would have worked.
It would have got the bug.
It would have got the goddamn bug. Or the man.
Yeah, probably more likely kill the man on accident.
I do like how they show the man, whose name is Greyfly, by the way. They show the old man.
His God-given name is Greyfly.
Yes,
it's on his birth certificate.
It's a really stupid play on a music reference that I cannot remember for the life of me. I will actually look it up while I'm talking. But essentially, he gets up after his own stand used someone's tongue to spell out murder on the wall or some shit. He goes and he reacts to it by having he screams so loud his dentures fall out.
You're just explaining the episode.
I've done that.
Yeah.
What happens
I just want to know
next?
your thoughts on that.
So I guess I thought I assumed that he wasn't just reacting to losing, but because like when stands get like stabbed, that person gets stabbed too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
generally.
no, this is before we even know it's him. We think this is a random passenger who's noticing the carnage of Greyfly.
Oh yes, yeah. He well, I think it seemed like he was trying to be a little bit tricky and like take a suspension off of him because he stands up and he's like, "I'm gonna go to the bathroom," and then he goes, and when he turned around, I assumed he was gonna be like, "Oh, what are you doing? Beetle got your tongue?" But no, instead he just pretends to be scared and falls over.
Yeah, and then you never
Yeah.
suspect it. That's kind of his cover. So clearly, he does this all the time.
Yeah, that's his move every time.
Also, his name is Greyfly. It is a play on the artist Glenn Frey.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Anyway, in other fucking news, Kakyoin uses the Emerald Splash to distract him.
Yes. I was surprised at how quick the fight was over. Because it is very much like it gets set up and I think Jotaro is originally the one that's like kind of fighting it, but he can't hit it. And so Kakyoin is like, "Here, I'll take over." And he just does a bunch of Emerald Splashes. And then at the first kind of like turn of the hat, he's like, "Gotcha!" And then Tower of Grey is dead.
Yeah.
Do
Well.
they think about eating him at all? Because I think that's how I deal with it. How eat this stand?
You would eat this stand.
I want to know what a stand tastes
spoiler.
like.
He
I wanna
exactly
know.
wants to be in your mouth, you fool.
Yeah,
But
He
if
wants to
I
take
bite
your
fast
tongue away.
enough, it's fine.
You know what's funny is if you
Mhm.
just wait 6 to 8 episodes, we'll get to that.
What?
Spoilers.
Is somebody gonna suck up Hierophant Green like a sketty?
Like
yeah.
a sketty.
Some of us here wish. I will say.
Do we have more people?
Yeah. But
Wait, I want to know your reaction to when the plane is crashing and Joseph's like, "You know what's weird?
I was gonna bring that up.
I've crashed a plane 3 times.
third plane
Like,
crash.
if I had a nickel, I'd only have 3 nickels. But it's weird that it happened 3 times, right?
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. I thought that was really cute, and I
Yeah.
thought that it was very nice of her because I was like, as soon as I started going to the cockpit, I was like, "Oh shit, Joseph is an excellent pilot, and this has been established. That's fun." And then they get in there, and he's like, he turns to Jotaro, and he's like, "This is the third fucking it was very cute. I liked it.
And that
I think
establishes
that is my favorite,
It's-
running gag
it's
with
really
Joseph.
good.
Is that
Yes.
every plane he gets on crashes?
I
Every
fucking
ship-
love it.
every ship
It's
Anakin
so
touches.
Funny. Yes, every ship Anakin touches.
it's like a video of like it shows like every clip where Anakin movie or the
in the
Clone Wars,
Clone Wars.
especially Clone Wars, where it literally shows every ship
Every
he's
single
on,
time-
and then it cuts to that ship fucking getting destroyed.
Guys, every single ship. It's insane.
But that is this.
He was the best pilot in the galaxy.
He was the best pilot, and this establishes a rule that typically I'm gonna fucking just say it. I don't care if anyone thinks it's a spoiler.
Say it, man.
I care. I don't want. If you're gonna say what? No. Shut up.
Whenever the Joestars are on since it calls attention to this, if the Joestars are ever on a plane, that plane, I don't know if it's touching down safely. That is gonna be a running gag from now on. I told you, I spoiled it.
Why do you
I
have
don't
to
give a
spoil
shit.
it?
I think it's gonna be really funny because now you're gonna keep that in mind
It's
from
just
this
really,
point on.
yeah. Every time they get on a plane, you'd be like, oh, "Is this gonna crash?"
Yeah, or just
and then
any
it will.
any vehicle even. I don't know.
I do feel like that's kind of anytime they're gonna show people in a vehicle,
Yeah.
it's probably because something bad is gonna happen.
Yes.
in
Yeah.
that vehicle.
We should
Yes.
actually keep a vehicle count for this part.
We should.
We should.
All right,
I agree.
Go for it.
How many are we at? Wait, how many are we at? Hold on. Oh yeah, they just set off on their journey, so now's the perfect episode to do that.
Yeah,
But
the plane was the first one because then they're like, "Hey, we can't take a plane because it's too dangerous." So let's take a boat.
Yeah, at
and
the
then
end-
that explodes as well.
At the end of this JoJo section, we will count them up. But also this episode really importantly establishes that Avdol is kind of their ear into the stand world.
Yes.
He's the one who knows he's the experienced one. He's one who's had his stand since birth. That's something I should keep in mind.
That's
Um,
cool.
But also, there's a really important moment where you see how the Joestar men handle female flight attendants. I don't know.
What do you mean? Just Jotaro? You mean?
Well, Joseph just shoves them out of the way, and then
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just a really funny moment that I really
Yeah, that
loved.
moment stuck out for me too. Where he yells at them, and then Kakuin's like, "I'm so sorry about him. What an asshole! Am I right?"
Uh-huh.
It's just
And
funny.
Abdul's just in the background
It's a funny dynamic.
So far,
Yeah.
Kakuin is 100% my favorite, I think.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
yay.
Oh, that's so good.
Okay.
You met the best character of part 3.
At
this
the
I
end
feel
of
like
this
I
episode.
haven't.
episode. No, you've met him.
That's right. We got to get going to that
Uh-huh.
plot point.
They're at a
Um,
table. They go to dinner
Yes.
in Hong Kong.
They go to dinner. It's such a good moment where they're sitting around and they've ordered food because it's like Joseph's like favorite restaurant or something. And Kakuin, all he does is he takes the top of his teapot and puts it like slightly off center and just kind of sits there and puts his fingers together and smiles. Doesn't say anything.
Is anyone going to ask me about all the things I know?
He just does it, and so quickly, Jotaro's like, huh? He's like, what? And Kakuin's like, well, Joseph, we are in, I think, Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And in Hong Kong, you do this and this and this. And then the lady comes by and he taps the little table to be like, and that's how you say thank you when you do that. And the waitress like does a little giggle to him. It's nice because Kakuin he just seems like really nice.
Yeah. He's
I
nice and he's
enjoy it.
knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's. I think Mac described him as the housewife of the Star Wars
What?
Or the.
That's funny.
I don't know.
I don't remember what Max said, but it
group
is.
wife?
It's funny because he has the what?
I don't know. Mac said it. I don't know.
Group wife?
Okay.
Every group's
Anyway.
got one actually.
Okay. Who's the group wife?
Who's
Tag
the
yourself.
group wife
Who's the
in-
group
in
wife?
I think
our-
we know. Who
I think
he
we
is.
all know.
Anyway, what were you gonna say, Adriana? I think you're projecting.
It's fun. He has the vibe of like, oh, I've never had the chance to like say all these things I know. That, like I've never had this much of an audience, and now I get to tell all my little facts to people.
But he's so pleasant when he
Yeah.
does it.
Yeah. He also, to me, I get the vibe that he is like, he is just like a generally well-liked person, even outside of this group. And these people are such like unpleasant like hounds.
Hound is such perfect.
Well, I think. What do you mean?
Part 3, the part of the unpleasant hound.
Hounds.
I mean, because Jotaro calls almost every woman he meets
Yeah,
a bitch.
yeah.
And
He is-
Joseph will like truly just like throw people away from him in the street. Avdol, I guess, is a pretty kind.
Yes.
He's very polite.
Avdol and Kakuin are definitely are really trying to counterbalance what is going on the Joestar side of this group.
Yeah.
But then we have the fifth member.
Yes.
The fifth member
emerging
approach.
from the porridge or whatever that was. That certainly wasn't porridge, but
Yeah.
emerging from a bowl of soup
Mm-hmm.
is a big old sword, and we get Polnareff.
I love Polnareff.
Hayden loves Polnareff.
Hayden loves Polnareff.
I actually I was thinking about it because we were talking about Kakuin, and I was like, I don't remember why I love Polnareff. He's just my favorite, and and I can't defend that statement.
If you keep watching, you'll remember.
Yeah.
You'll remember why you love him,
Oh,
and
yeah.
some might remember why they don't like him.
I don't think I remember this, but he is seemingly based off of Inigo Montoya, in that he has like a fencing saber
Yeah.
in his stand, but also his sister was it's actually pretty dark.
It's really
but
dark.
Some stuff happened, and then she got murdered by a guy who had two left hands. I
Two
think?
right hands.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. He is very much inspired by that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's peculiar.
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
Yeah. You learn a lot about Polnareff. What are some things you learned about Polnareff?
Mostly that so far. It's that is one thing I know, and the other thing I know is that he is a flirt. seemingly.
Well, he's a flirt once he has his personality back. After he gets the
Yeah.
little bud, the flesh bud removed from
Yes.
his incredible hairline. By the way, my favorite hairline in JoJo.
We've also got a new, very fleshed out stand design. So what do
yes.
you think of Silver Chariot?
Silver Chariot, I really enjoy. I really like the look of it.
I do too.
The armor thing is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also really like the kind of. It feels like Iraqi has kind of given himself a very like malleable stand that still feels like it has a clear set of rules.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the way that Silver
Yes.
Chariot can like stab through flame and do stuff like that, which is like, yeah, he's like cutting stuff, but also he can like cut stuff that you shouldn't be able to cut, and that's
Yeah.
cool.
Mm.
And I like that.
Yeah.
I like the design. I mean, spoiler, I did not really care for Polnareff when I watched part 3. I'm sorry, Hayden. But I always really liked Silver Chariot's character design. He's so cute and awesome looking, and I like his little Marvin the Martian eyes. It's great.
Yeah. I have a very interesting relationship with Polnareff in the sense that I was very mixed on him throughout all of part 3 the first time I watched. I love him now. I really do. He brings a lot of heart to the part, which you will definitely see. But at what cost is what I might say. That's all I'll say. And we'll talk about that later. At what cost? But him himself, I like. I like his character design. I like his. Generally, I like how his personality. He has
He's
does
one of the few stands that has a weapon, right?
Yeah.
Built into the stand. holding
Yes.
a
Yeah,
sword.
he just always got that built-in
You know,
sword.
I
He got that
wonder-
thing on him.
How he would do he's always been like a swordsman, right? Like without his stand, he could fight with a sword good, right?
It's never established.
That's never I just realized
He's just
that's
French.
never established.
He's just French. So they're like,
Ever.
Araki was like, what do Frenchmen do? Oh,
the sword.
rapier.
Yeah. But yeah.
Of the 3 stand battles I got, this one was probably the best. There's some very fun little. Some of them, like Avdol like digging a hole under the ground to like burst out. That's like okay, but I really enjoyed the moment because early in the fight, Polnareff like carves a statue of Magician's Red using Silver Chariot. I was like, look what I can do, idiot.
Yeah.
And then there's a very fun moment where Magician's Red is like bursting forth, and it's like he's gonna get him. And so then Polnareff like stabs it in the and he's like, "Aha! I've killed you!" But turns out that was a fucking statue, and then he gets bonked on the head. I thought that was cool. I like that.
You like the part where he was just completely on fire for 5 minutes?
That's right.
I really enjoy that. Avdol lights him on fire, and he's laying on the ground burning to death.
Very calmly.
And
yeah.
Avdol throws him a knife, and he's like, "You're probably gonna want to kill yourself." And Polnareff looks at it and is like, "Oh man, what an amazing fighter! Out of honor, I will allow myself to burn to death in agony." And then, just based off that, apparently, Avdol is like, "Wow, that guy has so much honor that there's no way that he's not being mind controlled right now." And so that's the reason that they find the mind bug.
The mind bug.
Yes.
Ever give a
Yep.
girl mind bug?
And then he snaps his fingers and the flames just disappear. I think they were fake. I think they were faux flames.
It could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. It could be like, I always thought burning alive would hurt more than this.
Yeah.
That's
Because he really was unbothered.
yeah.
At no point was he like,
Yeah.
even after the fact, he wasn't like, "Oh gosh, I'm all burned up."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
His hair was still perfectly
That could be a
gelled.
helmet.
Dude, if a single flame made it to that amount of hairspray, he would explode in an instant.
Oh my god, I just realized he reminds me of Johnny Bravo. I didn't even make that connection until now, but he totally
That makes
does.
sense.
You're right.
That's so funny.
You know, Polnareff does have the worst shirt in, I think, all of
Yeah.
JoJo.
It's not good.
It's
not
really,
a good shirt.
it's pretty bad.
It's not a good
I'd
shirt.
wear it.
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
But then we go on a boat.
Yeah.
Whoa.
We meet a whole new character.
Before that, Polnareff does the impossible Polnareff pose on the ground.
Oh.
So important. So,
I would not have noticed that unless it was pointed out to me.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know if I did notice it.
the
so
one
point it
where
out.
he's
No.
like, "I'll join you," and he's pretty much on the ground, but he's like posing like.
We'll show you later, and then you'll see how
Wow,
silly it is.
I can't believe you
but
don't
it really-
remember.
I'm sorry.
It's not noticeable unless you. Yeah, it's like
The whole
it just
community
looks
is
like
going to
another
rise up
anim-
against you. You don't understand what you're doing. Please stop.
I
while
was
you're ahead.
If
I was
you
probably
look-
on my phone, so I didn't see it.
Wow, but then we're on a boat.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Did you like
Joseph
the
does
boat?
an outfit change.
Yeah.
Joseph does an outfit change.
But and then Kakyoin does not because he's a student.
Kakyoin
Kakyoin and Jotaro.
And Jotaro,
are
they are
sun
students.
tanning in their student uniforms.
And I'm surprised. I know that it is in Japan specifically. There's the whole like the is not delinquent, but what's the name for that? The whole like generation that like started turning their uniforms into like gang outfits.
Yankees. Is it
No.
right?
Gosh,
I'm
I
not
can't
sure.
remember it.
But like they alter their uniforms.
But specifically, there was like a generation of Japanese youths that felt kind of betrayed and left behind by the education system and just by like the society at large, because there was like an economic crash and they were kind of being forced into a
Right.
shitty situation, and so they started using their school uniforms as like a like they would go out in their school uniforms and like add the chains to it. I assume it's what Jotaro's design is based off of.
Probably,
Yes.
yeah, that's neat.
Yes.
I didn't know. I never heard about that.
God, I'm trying to find that.
But it makes
The
sense.
name, it's on the tip of my tongue.
I can't. I think it starts with a D.
Yeah.
I think it's like similar to delinquent, but
Mm-hmm.
not quite.
delinquent Japanese students.
But all that to say, if Kakyoin, I can be like, okay, yeah, he's a nerd, sure. But I was a little surprised that that Jotaro was like, I'm a student. He doesn't seem like the type to me.
That's the thing with Jotaro. I think a lot of his humor can be like mistaken for not humor at all, and it's still arguable that it wasn't. But to me, I thought he was just being a little sassy, because Kakyoin is like, what? Well, both of them seem to be, and it's like them two specifically. A lot of times it seems like they have a little joke that only they're in on or whatever, So I think that was one of the first times.
Also for Jotaro, it's just like he is very he has a look, an image that he's always keeping up, and his tricked out uniform with the chain is part of that. You know, he doesn't like people fucking with that. And then for Kakyoin, it's like, I don't have an outfit change. I didn't have luggage.
Yeah, it is
know?
interesting because I wouldn't have
left.
thought of Jotaro as being so superficial. I wouldn't have thought of him as caring.
I
about
don't
his
think
outfit.
it's superficial.
No.
I think it's a matter of this is what's familiar to me,
Yes.
and this is my deal. Like
Okay.
this, I don't
It's
want to
very-
fuck with any other clothes, and what if it's uncomfortable? Like this is my uniform,
Yeah.
and this is what I wear, and this is my yeah.
Yeah, he's a 17-year-old kid. He's at this. He might look like a monster, but like he's still like a teenager trying to figure out
Yes.
himself.
I could. This is so like deep analysis,
Yeah.
whatever. But like, yeah, he likes routine. Like when Holly didn't kiss him goodbye, he was like,
Yeah.
"What the fuck's going on?" You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So
Yeah.
that's how I took it.
I like that.
a lot
That
of
makes sense.
people. Should I talk about some of the other stuff? Okay.
No, let him get to
Fan
know him
speculate-
better
yeah,
first.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so yes, they are tanning in their uniforms. I can't believe we're still at the beginning of this episode.
If Jotaro took his shirt off, he would be like pale white on everything but his face. His body has never seen a lick of sunlight.
No.
Yeah. So we meet a
Child.
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 Oh yes.
A child.
Oh yeah, there was
Kid.
something really weird with her that I didn't like.
Yeah.
Right.
What was the really
oh,
weird
yeah,
joke?
Jotaro.
That is
What did he
pretty much
say?
the end of
The-
Jotaro
he
doing weird shit.
Anne originally presented herself as a boy, a little boy, and then Jotaro found out she wasn't a boy when they were swimming.
Mm-hmm.
And
He
he,
grabs
like-
her overalls and then he goes,
And
huh?
he goes, what?
And then
That's
he-
not
He
boy.
rubs his hand across her chest, is like, and then flips her hat off, and her hair comes down. He's like, "Yeah, that's what I thought." And then he just drags her back to the ship, and it's like, what a weird way to establish
Yeah.
her gender for
I mean, he
Just-
didn't do
'cause
it
also,
on
how
purpose,
old
but
is
it
she
was weird
supposed to be?
narratively.
not very old.
No.
Not very old.
I would have guessed that she was young enough that wouldn't even be a factor.
I
What do you
don't.
Like,
mean?
I just mean like
Oh, yeah.
probably she looked
Right.
prepubescent to me.
Yeah.
It's very weird implication.
It was
Yeah.
I don't like.
weird from the writer.
Yes.
weird,
Yeah.
weird writer
Jotaro
moments.
doesn't really. I'm happy to say that's pretty much the end of. Like Jotaro had the kissing the nurse thing,
Uh-huh.
where he's like, I gotta get
Yeah.
Hierophant Green out of her digestive
Uh-huh.
system, so I have to kiss her to get her out. And then
Yeah.
he has this,
What?
and then he has
Said
this,
I've been
and I'm pretty sure that's it for the rest of Jotaro's
Cool.
existence. So
And that doesn't. That moment to me, like Adriana was saying, I don't think I was seeing that as like Jotaro's a weird pervert, and more just like this is a weird.
Yeah.
This moment is strange.
But before that,
Uh-huh.
before that, he beats the shit out of a shark.
Yeah.
And I really like that moment because you see, if you look closely, you see Star Platinum smiling as he rises to punch the shark.
Jotaro secretly loves punching sharks.
Yeah.
It's
Jotaro
it's
hates
canon.
sharks.
There are sharks, but then also you get to see Anne's perspective of this shark just in the air getting pummeled
Yeah.
invisibly by
A
fists.
non-stand user's
You
perspective.
get to see her perspective, which,
Yep.
Which we don't really get to see.
we don't get to
non-stand
see.
user
Not a
perspectives
lot, yeah.
Not
Which
very
is
often.
it makes sense because this is the introduction of the
Yeah.
part that introduced stands. So,
Uh-huh.
but
Yep.
yeah,
That was cool. I liked that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get back on the boat, and they're like, that one of the people on the boat must be using a stand because there was a stand that started doing mean stuff to somebody. And it is funny. I know this is like a meme online. I know, but it is like. Which one of these people is it? And one of them is like designed. Everybody else
you
is
mean
just like wearing
who's
clothes.
the stand user?
Yeah.
yeah.
But I really enjoyed the moment. Jotaro starts smoking, and the captain's like, "Hey!" And he like grabs a cigarette and he's like, "Don't you fucking smoke on my ship, you piece of shit!" And he like stomps it out and cleans it up and stuff. And I like to believe that Jotaro didn't actually have that much confidence that he was a stand user, but was like, it's fucking that guy. He's an asshole. Let's kill him.
That's what
Yeah.
he says, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, I didn't actually know it was you, but you fell for it."
He's like, I was going to do that trick on the other staff, actually, but it turns
Yeah.
out it was you.
That's so funny.
But yeah, I did enjoy the little
Yeah.
the nose vein thing.
Uh-huh. funny little
Yeah.
gifs and gaffs.
Yeah.
And then he beats him up and blah 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 blah.
Beats him off.
He beats him all the
He
way
pulls
up
him off.
and down and
Yeah, then they have a little fight.
They
Um,
kiss a little.
They will fight in a vortex. They kiss. They have,
Yes, and we get the introduction to Star Fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah, that moment was, I think, the one moment I was referring to that I was like, this is dumb in a bad way.
what are you talking about?
It's so the Star Fingers, Jotaro.
Wait, I'm sorry. We're reading One Piece, where
Uh-huh.
he literally does that exact same thing
Uh-huh.
with his hand, and
Yeah.
but then you're like,
I don't dislike the Star Fingers move.
yeah,
What I don't like is that stand battles are such a cool opportunity to have go into it with two separate sets of rules that people are playing by and see how characters can naturally get the upper hand in that. And that's awesome. And I enjoyed it for most of this fight, even to a degree.
like
Star
second-
Fingers is kind of a betrayal of the rules of Star Platinum because why the fuck can he do that?
Well, what is it? Well, think about it. What's he doing?
He's growing.
He's growing. What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
I don't even know.
Inspector Gadget extends
Yeah.
his fingers.
Well, yeah, but within his, it's okay. The anime does kind of a bad job of portraying this because it makes it feel like his fingers. I don't know if you read it this way. Kind of makes it feel like his fingers extend like 100 feet. Mm-hmm. They don't. If you look at it, it's just it pans down, and in the manga pan's very clear. It extends only the 2 meters that are within his range.
But it still
is
his fingers just growing out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they explain it as his energy is being sapped by Dark Blue Moon's barnacles. So he has to he remains calm so that he can focus his energy into just a very coordinated attack. Which
Stands are fluid
Yeah.
somewhat. Like, you can't purposefully change the design and makeup of them, but I guess it was trying to be like, let me put all my power into my fingers right now, and that was the deal.
Yeah.
But
I think
focused Haman moment.
Yeah.
if you will.
it's just I appreciated, I think, the fact that pretty much all of the fights so far have resolved because a character has found a clever way to use the tools at their disposal.
and this one he just
it was
makes,
a one-off
Yeah.
move.
Yeah.
That's true.
and it won't be forgotten.
Yeah. So I was not a fan of it. I mean, it didn't ruin the series for me by any means.
I thought it was
but it got
hilarious
really
when
close.
when I first saw it
It's
too.
just silly. I'm
is
not
silly.
actually
Yeah,
defending
yeah.
it in any way.
But it is important, I think, to note that like the focus of it wasn't so much that Star Platinum. Wow, he could just do whatever he wants. More being like Jotaro is so good at maintaining his cool, even in the most dire situations, that he can figure something like that out. And he's just got the stand is very new to him. He's still figuring out, the kinks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is stupid, and there's a lot of conjecture on Starfinger later that we will get into that I can completely debunk, and I have all the answers to.
Did you ever give a girl a star finger?
Oh, I have extended my fingers 2 meters up inside of her.
Man, that's gross.
That is actually
Wow,
more
okay.
words than I
Less is
wanted
more.
you to say.
Less is more, Hayden. Do you know that?
That's not what you were supposed to say, Hayden. You were supposed to say, no, I'm a virgin.
Hayden was like, yes, and I
Hey,
will spell out
hey.
exactly what I did.
You
in
can
this sexual
you can give a
situation.
girl a star finger and still be a virgin.
But
You can't give her a star penis.
You can give a man a star finger for a day, or you can teach a man to star finger.
himself forever.
Okay.
the boat explodes. The captain had planned it once again. The captain's plan was to explode the fucking boat he came in on in the middle of the
Yeah.
ocean.
Yeah.
And then-
wait. But that actually makes sense because his stand can literally.
That's true.
Yes.
That actually that's a very
Yeah.
good point. He would not have died even a little bit. And then we get a large boat.
boat.
I wonder who's driving.
Who's driving?
Whatever
the boat?
could be driving that boat.
I bet the little girl's gonna have a lot of fun on this big boat. She's
So,
gonna
yeah,
have so
we're-
much space to run around.
We're about to witness in my opinion, second or third worst episode.
At least second.
Of the
worst.
series or of the part?
Of the
Probably,
series,
definitely of the
probably.
part, and probably of the series.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you've seen this. We actually figured out. I don't know. Did we say this in the last podcast? We figured
know.
out. We figured out
I know
where
the
you.
exact number I left off on.
Yes,
Oh.
he knows. We know how much of part 3 Clayton seen.
I made it exactly to the end of. Actually, no. I think I was halfway through when I stopped.
Episode
9.
Okay.
Yellow Temperance.
Okay. Cool.
And
We'll get
so,
there.
So
I
you-
don't know what the plan is. We'll talk about homework later. But if we were to watch 3 more, I would be completely caught up.
That's so exciting because
Yeah.
you'll finally be into territory you've never seen.
Yeah.
That's insane. I do think it's important to know. I think one more thing. I think there was a scene, right? There was a scene that was with Dio and the old woman, Enya.
Yes.
Right.
And Dio and a bunch of naked ladies.
Yeah.
He's out there getting Johnny's dick dirty.
having a having a bunch of consensual vampire sex.
Yeah.
And-
And I think
Yeah.
he killed them too. Is that right?
Consensual vampire
Consensual
feeding.
murder.
Consensual cannibalism. Absolutely. He is coming.
Yeah. And good for him.
And more stand users are
He was in
coming.
a box
Little
for
moment.
so long.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's also
Do you think he was
another-
jerking off with Jonathan's buddy?
Oh, 100%.
100%.
Because I feel like he's not doing it because he's horny. He's doing it to spite Jonathan.
Wait,
Wow.
like
He
he's
wants to use his dick for sex.
He wants to
That's
defile.
crazy.
because Jonathan would never have done
He would have
Wow.
never cheated on
Never.
Would
Arena
never use his dick
ever.
He
for
would
sex.
never have had sex.
Ever.
Yeah.
True. Yeah,
True.
makes sense.
But yeah, it establishes that we have 7 more Stan users under Enya who she has sent, and she listed. I think it was 7. She listed their cards. So
Yes.
go
Sorry,
ahead.
I have a backtrack tangent real quick.
Go
just
ahead.
to ask. So Clayton,
Uh-huh.
the chariot in tarot, what does that mean in accordance to what you think, what you've gathered from Polnareff?
I really don't. I can't think of the chariot off the top of my head at all.
Okay.
You know.
I know a little bit because the chariot was the
That was the card you
that
drew.
was the card I drew. We had an
Yeah.
improv troupe we were in that we all drew tarot cards, and I forget exactly what the chariot means. Let me continue talking, Josh. I'm gonna look it up.
Well, the chariot means no.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
Um,
I don't know yet, but
I
yeah.
want to say good luck, or maybe I'm thinking of the wheel. of
I
Fortune.
think
believe
you might
it-
be-
I believe
it's
it
probably
is
Wheel
like-
of Fortune. That's good luck.
It is overcoming conflicts and moving forward in a positive direction.
Okay. Okay.
So it's a
Perhaps.
lot about like hard work and commitment and focusing on a goal.
Okay.
Oh.
He is very goal oriented with this right hands guy, and he certainly overcame hardship and is moving forward after the death of his sister.
He's had
Yeah.
to deal with the struggle of being French.
Yeah,
very
the struggle of
Uh-huh.
having.
I wouldn't have been
I
able to do that.
would have taken that knife.
Yeah,
you know?
I
I
would've
would have
did-
taken
I
that
would've-
knife.
He could have given me that knife before the fire.
He has to deal with the struggle of having a really cool outfit in his flashback with Dio, and then having a shitty outfit for the rest of the series that is not that outfit.
Yeah. We should probably
Yeah.
move on.
Absolutely.
We've talked
Yeah.
about a lot of JoJo. I probably shouldn't have made us have that anime conversation. One thing I will say, we can get into this more on later episodes. I had the idea, and going forward, I'm going to be keeping a running sort of ranking of all the stands that I see.
Oh, cool.
Fantastic.
So I
I
have
forgot we
that
talked
list,
about this.
Yeah.
ranked right now. In
Okay.
fact, I'll just do a very quick version of this.
Let's go.
Because there's only like 6 right now. We have got number 1, obviously, Star Platinum. Number 2, Silver Chariot. Number
Yeah.
3, Hierophant Green.
Yeah.
Number 4, Magician's Red.
Yeah.
Number 5, Hermit Purple.
Yeah.
Number 6, Tower of Gray. And number 7, Dark Moon Blue.
Awesome.
Dark Moon Blue?
Dark Moon Blue.
Dark Blue Moon?
Dark Moon Blue.
Okay.
There was a different one.
I think we
saw-
have the
I think
same.
I watched a different
I think we
episode.
have maybe the same ranking of the current. I have my tier list pulled up,
Nice.
and I think they're similar.
Hell yeah. But with that,
One Piece.
do you want to talk about some One Piece?
One Piece.
Wait. Vehicle crash count.
Okay.
Just to start that now, if for part 3 specifically.
Thus far, for part 3, there have been 2 vehicle crashes.
Plane
and boat.
Plain vote.
Plane and boat,
Plane boat.
baby.
Plane
Unless
Plane boat.
you count that bowl of soup.
Okay, cool.
Oh, I've driven
I guess
a bowl of
the
soup.
I guess
tell
the,
you
the,
what.
the freaking silver chariot kind of crashes. Because he get oh man it
Yeah,
gets-
yeah,
That's
yeah,
true. That's
yeah.
true.
One Piece.
Did you? Oh, there's so much more I could talk about with JoJo, but we do have to move on to One Piece.
One Piece. That's the name of the treasure on the Grand Line. Here we go. Yeah, but One Piece.
Sanji's cooking. Sanji's cooking. Sanji's cooking. Sanji's cooking. You'll notice there was one voice that wasn't joining in.
Yeah, what the
What the fuck?
man?
Come on. We're in this together.
Oh gosh. What did you? So we're gonna talk about some chapters. Before I have something I want to say about these chapters, but before I say that, I want to hear what y'all thought.
Fine. I liked.
Lot of new lore dropping
Lot of new
constantly,
Lots of
so
stuff
it's really
happened.
cool. The log pose is
Yes.
a thing now, which is insane.
Oh, whales
I don't-
exist.
Adriana, that took Adriana out.
Their whole face.
That fucking took Adriana
Whole
out.
face.
Another tier added to the
If
counter.
they ever find those motherfuckers who abandoned Laboon, they better set them on fire and then kill them and then set them on fire.
The main
again.
bad guy of One Piece is just some schmuck
I-
who couldn't make it on the Grand Line. Luffy obliterates him.
Turns him inside out.
I cried so hard. I was already like, oh my god. I saw a concert this weekend, and so I was like already like emotionally like crashed after that high.
Uh-huh.
And then we read that chapter, and then the Laboon story, and I sobbed so hard. I cannot believe it. I loved Laboon.
Laboon was a highlight.
Laboon was
a
so
highlight.
good.
He was bonking his little
He was
nose.
bonking his
But
nose.
Luffy painted the straw hat emblem so that he had a reason
Yeah,
not to bonk his
not to
nose.
do
After
that,
stabbing
but
him
he
in the
beat
skull.
his ass
Yeah.
first. Oh my
It's
god, I
crazy.
was so. I'm not forgiving him for that.
The whale
Luffy?
kicked. The
Yes.
whale kicked
That's-
Luffy's ass.
That's fine. It's a whale. Listen,
That's-
listen. Okay, he doesn't. Okay,
Luffy,
He doesn't
Luffy has
matter.
Luffy
doesn't
has a
matter.
very special way in which he
Yeah.
can understand people, and I think he knew in that moment that Laboon needed not just something on his face, but he needed a reason. He needed something to wait for.
yeah, I got it.
And now he has an arch enemy.
I completely understood the
rival.
whole motivation.
but
and
you're
stuff.
rooting for Laboon.
I'm rooting for Laboon. I think
I can't believe that we might. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it still hurt to see him hurt.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
For me, I can't believe that. I don't know if I have no idea if they're gonna run into him where you guys are currently at in the most recent issue. I don't know if they've already run into Laboon again, but the idea that potentially the end of One Piece could be bookmarked with a meeting with Laboon
They have to. They
is
have to.
insane to me.
It cannot end without.
I
them
would.
seeing
I
Laboon
will
again, because if it
slobber
does,
and cry. I will
Yeah.
cry slobbery, snotty tears if that is the
Well,
fucking case.
Yeah.
Laboon is at the beginning of this journey, the beginning of the Grand Line. And
Yes.
fortunately, due to the way the world is constructed, the end of the Grand Line is, and potentially where we are trying to go theoretically,
Yeah.
depending on
Raftel.
where.
oh yeah, because that island is at
yes.
the end.
Also, I'm so sorry I have to keep doing that. I'm looking at trying to find a different translation.
Yeah, is it not?
for y'all?
What's it called? Really?
Laugh Tale.
Laugh tail.
Laugh-tail. Yeah, I would
Laugh
love. I
tail.
feel like I'm reading everything wrong.
Yeah, I'll tell you when stuff like that comes up.
Wait,
It's not a huge.
The island's name is Laftel?
Yes, it's not Raftel, it's
Oh,
Laugh-Tell.
Laftel. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And that will matter to an extent. But all this to say, theoretically, when they make it to the end, they'll just be a few miles away from
Yeah,
Laboon.
they just have to get on the
Fucking
other side of
better.
Reverse Mountain, and then Laboon will be waiting for him.
Yeah,
They have to re-enter the Grand Line, right? Is
yeah,
that how that works?
and then if they want to get out, they'd have to do a whole
They
thing.
gotta
all
do
over
One
again.
Piece.
But theoretically, yeah, One Piece too.
Can you imagine if it's a cliffhanger? The ending of One Piece is actually.
Luffy's like, fuck.
Here we go again.
we go again.
Well, that's what
Yeah.
that's what he says. He's like, what if you don't? What's his name? Crocus or whatever is like
Crocus.
Yeah.
He's like, are you sure you want to lock in this route? You only get to choose once. He's like, yeah, if I don't like it, I'll just go around again. I'll go around the Grand Line again. He's like, yes, you will. Luffy's confidence it's gotten to a point where it's just inspiring. I just
Yeah.
love it because he really just has won. Like he
Yeah.
keeps just winning.
Yeah.
I am very excited to see when he's humbled and when he maybe has to question.
Which seems like we're careening towards that moment with. That's a jump forward, but what our current little track is seems to be putting him face first into one of those.
What
Yeah.
with the giant?
With the Baroque being after
Oh,
them.
yeah,
and
yeah.
Mr.
I mean,
Crocodile.
Yeah.
So far, they have swatted every Baroque agent out of the way
Yeah.
like a
Uh-huh.
piece of lint.
However, so far we have only seen some of the lower numbers. We specifically
Up to
get
5.
Yeah.
we fight Mr. 5, and then it is after the fact it is explained to us that anybody lower than 5 is really powerful.
Yeah.
5, he's pretty good, but he's still kind of a schmuck.
He was on the volume cover, and I was like, this guy looks awesome.
Yeah.
The way he went at, I mean, he had like cool boom boom fruit,
Uh-huh.
Bakugo ass powers, and then he just gets like the fight may as well been off screen because
That was
he's
funny.
literally
He
getting
gets smoked.
swatted.
That was a good moment, Luffy and Zoro fighting.
But we're talking about this way out of order. We
Yeah,
gotta start.
we
We gotta
are.
start.
Not.
I know we use a lot of time, but we gotta start our first impressions. I really liked these 2 volumes. I think I liked the first one we read a little more. Volume 12, right?
I think so. I think so.
These 2 volumes really gave me confidence in reading further because this was the first few arcs where the stakes, even though we're entering the Grand Line and that's really awesome, it was somehow also done in a way where the stakes didn't feel too high yet.
Yeah.
And yet it was still so fun and enjoyable in a very stable way where I'm like, okay, when I keep reading, I can expect to still have fun. Versus like before we got the high stakes shit of like Mihawk entering and Arlong Park, I was just like, this is, the series is fine when it's not going off. But now it's like this volume with us entering the Grand Line, Laboon, and, getting to Whiskey Peak, it was just really fun and solid. The writing is advancing. Oda's writing ability is advancing. He's been doing it for like 2 years now at this point in this in this volume section.
Me. That was so funny.
Which part is this?
The guy, what's his name?
The princess is
Igor.
Oh yes, Igaram, yeah.
Every time I see stuff like that I hear in my
What
head.
do you think? What do you think his voice sounds like?
What I just said.
Yeah, but like after he me's.
Oh.
Do you think because that's what I was thinking about a lot. I'm like, I was like, does this guy got a high voice or a low? Because it's either like a me.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm the little guy.
No, I think
Or I
he's
think
got
it's
a deep
me.
voice.
I think he's got a normal.
Yes, we're
yeah,
going
yeah,
to
yeah.
go.
That, something like that.
Ah,
Yes, we're going to
Absolutely.
advance onto the Grand Line.
Right.
First thoughts, Hayden.
On what?
Just in general, I guess you've already said. I would say, but before we get too deep into things, I had a question I wanted to ask. I've talked to Hayden about this, so I'm curious to hear y'all's takes. In this stretch of chapters, I'm glad y'all liked it because I think this is probably the weakest that the series is going to be for a while. This is probably
Sick.
the worst stretch we're going to have for a bit.
Wow.
Y'all might. There's one coming up that I don't know how y'all are going to feel about it, but either way, one of the chapters in here, for the most part, I liked a lot of the stuff we had. One of the chapters in here is, I think, just off the top of my head, my second least favorite chapter in the whole series.
That we just read one of those chapters?
Yes.
Which one?
I was curious did anything come to mind for you? Because Hayden did not seem to be bothered by the thing that I'm really bothered by, and I was wondering if y'all were.
Was it?
Okay, it started with Laboon and
Can I guess?
Yeah, I would love some guesses.
Was it? Well, first off, was it during Whiskey Peak?
It was during Whiskey Peak.
Was it when Luffy derails the whole fight by being like, Zoro, what the fuck are you doing? And starts fighting him?
Yeah. That is truly one of the only moments in the entire series where Luffy's writing is inconsistent. Luffy, the version of Luffy that exists in every other chapter of One Piece, if he came out and saw Zoro fighting all these people, first thing out of his mouth is, what did they do?
All right, where are we dropping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He, like, the fact that not only that, but he's like, before he's even asking questions, he's going to try to kill Zoro.
I really think it was like just that much of the way I interpreted it was like it was just a super exaggerated gag of like that's how much he likes food because these people fed him so much that it doesn't that he's on their side.
They were
for
so
like,
nice.
Exactly.
I can see what you mean though. When that started happening, I was like, "Oh wait, what the fuck's going on?"
Because we were talking about it a little bit off the pod. I'm sorry. Okay, we talked a little bit. All right, we spoke to each other.
I can't believe these fucking roommates talk to each other when we're not on the podcast.
But
what the fuck?
Clayton was talking about the point of it just being like, that point of it, Luffy would drop, and it's like that's what I thought the fight was gonna go. Is like Zoro keeps trying to be like, wait, no, listen, Luffy, and he finally like gets to say like, these guys are bad guys. And then Luffy doesn't believe him, which
Right.
I think is the moment that the fight should have ended. But
I guess I just didn't take the fight that seriously. You know, like
It was kinda played for laughs.
character writing wise.
Yeah.
I didn't really think, oh, this is characterization. I just thought, oh, this is a silly fight happening.
Yes, and that 100% is the case, and that kind of thing will crop up where, especially with Sanji. There'll be some things where it's like, okay, this isn't the character.
Yeah.
This is just something that Oda thought would be fun.
Can we talk about Sanji, like, because I don't think we've talked about his little, like, I don't know, just, it's so not bad so far. Everything he says to every woman, I enjoy immensely. It's amazing.
I think that this version of Sanji, this gag, is honestly funny. He's not a pervert. He's a hopeless romantic and a flirt.
Yeah.
And he's a
he
simp.
falls in love with everyone he
Yes.
sees. Every woman he sees, he falls in love with.
Exactly.
It is.
Which, up in there.
It's relatable, genuine.
Why'd you look at me when you said
Because you're one of the 3 people at this table. I only had
Because
3
you're one of the
options.
women he fell in love with.
Yeah, that is true.
Aw.
I'm the housewife. I'm the group wife.
You're the group one.
I
I hate that phrase.
We're passing him around.
Were you thinking of male wife? Is that the word
No,
you were
Max
thinking?
said something very specific with wife.
Okay.
I think they just said he's the wife of the group at one point.
I feel like
But
that
this is
doesn't
way
sound like
later.
something Mac would say.
We
Anyway.
were watching it with.
I like group wife.
Group
yeah,
wife.
me too.
Sorry.
But what the fuck were we even talking about? Sanji is. I can imagine that could get out of hand. I am missing a bit more nuance with Sanji that we were getting with Baratier. Like I want them to keep exploring his deal, and right now his deal has just been pretty much being like a comic relief character.
I think he'll get a turn though, because
I'm sure.
Because
I mean, Nami's kind of back on being a little like not having as much, not having as much nuance, but just the story's not as much about her, so she's kind of
Right.
dropping in and be like, "Give me $1 billion."
Yeah.
right, I think it. Just
Nami's always
is-
killing it. I don't care.
love Nami.
Takes turns and stuff.
Everything
Like
Nami does is just like mwah. I'm almost gone Sanji mode, but for her character, because it literally not only is it just also consistent, but it's always interesting. It's always like she's always working the angles, and she's also always like she's still always in her feelings in the sense that like she always does care about the crew, but she will, if need be, still maintain her own, like prioritize her own survival. There was a moment where she was like, "You're gonna go after him, this guy who was established his bounty was 80 million. Listen, I love you guys. I'm walking." And then the beaver, the otter has a drawing of her.
I loved that,
Dude, the miss. Okay,
That was so
the
funny.
Unluckies.
Unluckies are
Big
so
big
good.
fan of the
So
Unluckies.
good.
The Unluckies are great.
I would cosplay the Unluckies. Who wants to cosplay the Unluckies?
Wait, do you want to be the rat
Either
or the
one.
vulture?
The rat.
It was an otter.
It was an
It was an
otter.
otter. It was an
Same
otter.
thing. They're all the
Either
same.
one.
It was Mr. 13.
I want to be the otter. So will you be my vulture?
Here's the thing. Let's have 2 different conversations. So yeah, Laboon. We meet Laboon.
Wait, what? Where?
We're starting from the beginning.
What?
There's so
We
much
were
in
just at Whiskey Pea.
There's so much about
There's
Laboon we
one
didn't
more-
talk
There's
about.
one more thing in Laboon I feel like needs to be talked about.
This kind of goes hand in hand with both of these 2 first arcs. Baroque works. We get the intro.
Yeah.
I assume that's what you're talking about here.
What?
Baroque works.
Yeah. What about it?
I thought that's what you were trying to bring up.
I said Laboon.
Okay. Laboon.
He said Laboon.
I said I'm sorry. I thought we were wanting to go in order, but we really don't have to.
We really don't.
I also think we covered most of the Laboon stuff.
Yeah. I cried. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all that we
and
need
then
to
he
talk
said,
about.
"A Roger."
Oh,
He
yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
say A Roger.
Crocus knew
Gold
Roger.
Gold Roger.
Right.
Crocus
that happened.
and seemed to be speaking.
What? What?
It really,
That happened.
it really felt like he knew Gold Roger. I love everything that Crocus does for the plot in terms of setting them off on their journey.
Yeah.
He teaches them about the log pose.
Yeah.
He teaches them the way that you navigate the Grand Line, which was so interesting. And I loved and everything they are establishing with how the Grand Line works.
It's a
is,
different universe.
Yes,
It's a different planet.
It's so
Yeah.
interesting,
Yeah.
and it is so consistent with the fear and the awe that people have for it. I really love that, and just the first off, Reverse Mountain. What a fun little splash town way to get into the Grand
it
Line.
reminded me as well.
With the we didn't even talk about the comm belt and all the fucking monsters in the comm belt.
Yes.
Right.
Which I
The
speculate.
reason that there is a Grand Line at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the comm belt, I assume, I hope, I don't know if this will ever be covered later, but we talked about, we're like, Adriana, when we were reading it, you were like, well, how the fuck did Krieg even get out of the Grand Line? And I was like, it must have been because Mihawk was following them, and Mihawk was the one taking out all the fucking Sea
But that
Kings.
wouldn't really make sense if he was ahead of him.
Yeah, but I mean,
It's not like he was protecting Krieg.
he can destroy whole ships just by being next to them. I don't know.
But he wasn't close enough to destroy Krieg, so how would he be close enough to protect him?
He was distracting all the Sea Kings by being awesome.
Okay.
I don't know. Clayton, any words on that?
I mean, I'm not going to tell you what exactly,
Yeah.
but there's explanations.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Sick.
Then
That's
we'll find
awesome.
A question just for me.
Uh-huh.
Does it ever, because it's something that interests me, but it doesn't really service the story. Does it ever talk about like who or how they developed like the log pose?
Yeah, I have no idea
'cause
how
it's
that
just
works.
like it's such an interesting piece of technology that is so specific to the Grand Line and has to be developed in the Grand Line that it's like it feels like whoever made that is going to be an important
One
character.
Piece has a very developed world, and it's enough that I don't remember the specifics, but there is somebody who I don't believe has been named yet, who I would assume created that.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Cool.
it's not a real thing that actually measures magnetic fields. Like that's not like a
No.
real. Okay,
No.
yeah. Because I never heard of that, and I don't know how it would
It's
possibly
a really
work.
cool plot
You
device,
also
though.
got
Yeah.
permanent log poses, which is a cool.
It's
Eternal
the eternal
log
pose.
pose.
Yeah.
This is
Which is
sick.
cool.
I have a feeling. I have a weird feeling. I have no evidence to back this up. I have a weird feeling that for some reason log poses are going to end up being completely irrelevant at some point, and like there's going to be
There's going to be a new method that they figure out.
or it's just going to become not important to their journey for some reason. I don't know why, but it feels like that's such a specific device that just it feels temporary. I don't know why. It just doesn't feel.
Well, it'd be a hassle, but it would make for a lot of interesting plots. I think I originally thought I was like, oh, so that means there's definitely going to be an arc where they get lost, like they're
I don't
they're
know.
floating and they're fucked and they got they're stranded. I feel like that's definitely gonna
Yeah.
happen. And
I
how are
know.
they gonna get out of this one? Yeah.
There was a lot of interesting developments in terms of Oda's strategy as he approaches the Grand Line, because I could tell that he was very cleverly establishing these rules early on and also adjusting them as it was going, because he has a lot clearly he has in mind for the Grand Line that needs to also be consistent with everything we've heard about it and everything he's establishing. So it seems like he's trying to tread really lightly with it, and I appreciate that. There's a moment where Vivi, Princess Vivi, establishes that it was so it's not snowing anymore, and the weather isn't as crazy as it was as you thought it was going to be all the time in the Grand Line, because that's just the 7 magnetic fields that come from Reverse Mountain, and that's why that was so fucking crazy. Because if he didn't establish that, we'd be like, wait, hold on, we got all this hype from thinking the seasons change all the time in the Grand Line, but then clearly Oda was like, I can't keep writing that every time they go from island to island, so he establishes a new rule.
I think Oda carries the spirit of that, but yeah, I think that is a thing. He didn't want to be like, Well, in every other fucking panel, it's snowing.
Yeah, because I think it was just setting up that it's supposed to be chaotic and unpredictable.
Uh-huh.
So it shouldn't be That's the whole point. Is like, what if you're expecting it to be a certain way? It's don't like that's like it could be anything and whatever he wants to draw.
No, it's very consistent.
Also, really love Oda's casual world building because you get when Miss All Sunday,
Yes.
all the time Sunday.
Josh.
She like
every
just
Sunday.
really quickly name drops that like no sound stretch or what's the
The Island of Nothing.
the nothing island of nothing, is that what it's called?
That's what. Yes,
Okay.
that's what I heard.
Yeah.
And it's just like such a nobody is like, it's not expanded on. It's just a place that now exists, and it's like, all right, we'll probably see that or we
Yeah.
won't. It'll be awesome.
That is, I believe, the plan is for that to be the next stop after Little Garden.
Which it's taking a year.
Well, the island
the
of
plan?
the
Because
island
they
of
destroyed the eternal log pose that would have taken them through
the island of Nothing was a
Yes.
detour that Miss All Sunday was supplying to them, but it wasn't apparently on the map. She even said, she was like, yeah, the people in the organization don't even know about this. So this will make it a lot easier.
They're not going to follow you there because nobody knows what's there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody knows really what's there, but if you keep going on your path, you're going to end up in Little Garden, which you'll just fucking die. But I don't think she
But what a
establishes
baller move for Luffy to destroy
crush it.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, she was
It's
like,
like,
we're not
actually,
playing by your
you stole
rules.
my hat, you're done. You're done. You nicked my
Yeah.
hat.
Can we
Which
talk
is-
about Miss All Sunday for just a second?
Can
think
we talk about Miss All
Can we talk about Miss All
Can we?
I was gonna make. I think I had. That's way later in the volumes. Do we want to get into it?
What?
We talk like jazz. We make it smooth. We go wherever we please.
Fuck it,
Yeah,
you're
whatever
right.
the fuck he said.
I want to hear what y'all think about Miss All Sunday.
What do y'all think about Miss All Sunday and her cowboy
Epic.
hat?
The way they introduce her with the fucking
Yes.
exploded water, like when she just explodes the
Yeah.
whole
Ahem.
ship, and it's just
Boom.
I realized that I really, really like the way Oda draws characters facing explosions or fire.
Yeah.
Yep.
When,
Oh, yeah.
The way that it's like a shadow just in the middle of their body that kind of fades as it goes,
There
and it's just
were-
like
Yeah.
Zoro
Oh.
had one when he's in the moonlight. Dude, we can't not talk about. Well, we got to get to that later, but we can't not talk about Zoro in the first volume.
Zoro
Yes.
versus the.
When
versus
I was
everyone.
literally just about to say, like, there were so
start
many awesome, like, shots of the Luffy and Zoro fight, like, where they just look epic. But yeah, before just the whole Whiskey Peak fight there was a lot of good, cool
I
panels.
just loved Whiskey Peak in general.
When he cut through the stone and he was like, "God, a good sword's supposed to only cut when you want
Right,
it to."
it's
This
a
one's a problem child.
Yeah.
Oh,
Love that.
its curse has been, because Zoro has such a good luck. Its curse has been reduced to being a little
Little
bratty.
Naughty.
It's a little naughty sword.
Yeah.
I fucking love
boy.
that, dude. Zoro shot in these last two volumes. Also, Zoro just for me had a little more juice poured into him.
Yeah.
and I really appreciate that.
I specifically wrote a note because one of the things you've talked about a lot is wanting to see the Zoro versus 100 dude fights that are usually like skipped over.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
talk
Yes.
a lot about wanting
Yes.
to see the Zoro
Yeah.
fights, and we finally got to see how he
Great.
handles like
Yeah.
30 dudes.
It's
And
which
it
he
was-
just does it.
This was another example of one of the few fights in One Piece that is becoming more frequent, where the choreography and the blocking of it, and just the way
it's
that
so smooth.
the way that we're following it's so fun to actually follow, and it doesn't
Yeah.
look like a bunch of gibberish like slash lines. I really dug that. I dug that also he established, he's like, yeah, Swordsman is always knows to stay a little sober. After he drank like 100 brewskis.
Yeah.
That was him being just tipsy.
Nami
Yeah.
also drank like 16.
Yeah,
and he was like,
Nami
I was
drank
on
even
fine.
more than
Yeah.
him, and Nami was like, "Yeah, I'm good."
Yeah. 'Cause
Obviously.
Zoro, I think, said it, he was like, I wasn't actually drinking all those. I was drinking all. And Nami was just like, oh, yeah, I can drink like 70 beers.
yeah.
Oh, he wasn't really drinking all those.
I think I don't think he explicitly says, like, I can drink more than that. I think he was more like...
He said Swordsman knows to not drink himself into a stupor.
Yes,
That's what he said.
Yes, so he can drink. He can drink.
So yeah. Also, another line that I did hear in my head was when Luffy woke up, because me and Josh were reading this together, and just it's just really funny. His face, he was like, "Oh, I'm so full, but I'm so sleepy."
Yeah, the way his face was drawn,
funny.
I could hear him talking like this, like which I have definitely talked like when I wake up.
I love it. The second time he wakes up, he gets up and he's like, "Nature calls."
Yeah.
He just walks.
Yeah, I bet you loved that, Hayden.
What's that supposed to mean? What's that supposed to mean?
Anyway, group wife. Anyway,
What the heck?
What the heck? What?
But Zoro gets a really cool fight.
Yeah.
This is also the start. There's some allegations against Zoro that I'm going to make you all aware of right now.
I saw in the
yeah.
comments of
What is
Because
this?
Josh actually knows more about One Piece than I do
no, I just
from Twitter.
No, Josh
What's-
pointed out the
no,
comments.
I saw in
of
the comments
chapter.
of the website that we were watching it on, and
Okay.
I was very concerned.
This is the beginning. This is the first instance that is pointed to for the popular headcanon. Zoro is racist.
The popular headcanon?
Very popular headcanon. Widely accepted headcanon.
Do you accept this
Is that
headcanon?
why he's not
So,
farther up on your list?
To be clear, the headcanon doesn't have anything to do with Zoro being like prejudiced.
Yeah.
But it just so happens that most of Zoro's big fights are against people that are drawn with darker skin.
That's
Man,
insane.
I liked Miss Monday too. I thought she was sick.
Yeah, she was awesome. I don't think it's a real thing. It's not an actual problem,
it
really.
it's more like why
just a coincidence.
Why does
Yeah.
Oda keep doing that? Why does that happen? But
the Miss Monday, when she just fucking punched him in the skull, that was a really
it, like,
good,
left a
impactful
Yeah.
panel.
This-
what did Zoro do to her? Did he crush her skull?
Yeah, he's so strong. Zoro's so yoked that he just grabs her head and she starts screaming because he's squeezing her head too hard.
I do find it always funny whenever like a character who is much less shredded and bulky than another character is just inherently stronger.
You
Yeah.
like the sleeper build trope?
I don't know if I like it, but I always find it amusing.
Something I'll say, One Piece, people's bodies, to almost a mythical degree that we will get to, that I think is a very fun aspect of the series, people's bodies grow as reflections of who they are. So obviously muscle is one thing that will happen. But if somebody is super strong, like Zoro, we will start to see just how strong Zoro is, because it is very goofy at times just how strong he is. But that kind of thing is not always reflected in the body. Zoro is a very calm, collected, and reserved and somewhat humble person. And so his body stays the size it is. And that'll start to make more sense as it goes.
Okay.
But it's a very fun little aspect of the series that I like a lot.
Neat.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess that tracks. Do we ever find out why he is so strong, or is it just one of those things? Because like
Well,
with
he
Luffy,
did 100 push-ups and 100 sit-ups and 100 pull-ups every day, and that's
And
how
ran 5 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a banana in the morning. I think that's is it because with what's his name, Luffy. With what's his name, Luffy. I mean, he has the devil fruit, right?
Well,
And-
the devil fruit doesn't make you any stronger.
God damn it!
Oh.
Well, it makes him more durable at the very least.
Yeah, but that's just because of the rubber, not because like devil fruits make you durable.
Well, that's crazy.
Are we gonna find out why he's so strong?
that
Yes
he-
or no?
Wait,
Answer right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I
he
mean-
flung Momu across the fucking earth.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
he can punch hard.
Yeah.
He wants it
This
more.
is another thing. People in One Piece. I kind of set this up earlier with like, how people will get shot and stuff. People in One Piece are. There is not a physical limit on bodies that is determined by your will. Like the idea of like somebody's determination and will is such a strong force in One Piece in a way that I think is very fun that we will get to later. Similar to how I'm talking about, like if you are somebody who has a great amount that you want to do, you will probably get stronger. If you want to be a big imposing figure and you gain like notoriety, you will literally get bigger And Luffy is somebody who obviously he trained a lot to be the king of the pirates, and that's how he got ready to fight the Sea King there. But also he's somebody with a very strong heart, and that allows him to be much stronger.
It's like mom that lifted the helicopter off her kid.
Yeah.
She's like, she just really wanted to do it.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's neat.
That's cool. All right.
Back to Miss Monday or Miss
Miss
All
Miss
Sunday.
All Sunday.
Miss
All
Miss All
Sunday.
Sunday.
Loved the way he drew her face was different and cool.
It was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
She
got a cool
seems awesome.
Yeah,
She
I'm really
seems-
excited to see what her deal is.
Her
Me
what
too.
fruit she's got.
What
Oh,
too.
fruit?
yeah.
The telekinesis. The tele fruit.
Did y'all like
Mind
when
mind.
Sanji pulled out a glass?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was so
gun.
fun.
Man we've never seen him hold a gun,
I
and
always
he's like,
forget that happens.
and then
You literally said, "Where did Sanji get a gun?
where'd he get the blick from? He's strapped all of a sudden.
Yeah. I mean, he's
I guess he
got
just
it.
had that.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
found-
I mean,
some-
it's a boat.
You can't
Meanwhile-
kick somebody 400 feet away.
But what's funny is that when he's got the blick in front of him, he doesn't realize how sexy Miss All Sunday is. And then when he gets tossed off the balcony and then looks back, he's like, "Oh wait, you're beautiful.
She's kind of fun.
She's fucking hot as shit."
Yeah.
Can't wait to see more of Miss All Sunday. That's all I'll say.
I
about
feel
that.
like we got my basic theory, just going into it, is that she's trying to get rid of Crocodile and replace Crocodile. That feels like a very easy basic thing, but I do think she is on, at least for some reason, she is on the Straw Hat side.
I think she's trying to find the All Church,
What?
Shut
up.
so she can go on All
All
Sunday
Oh
Sunday.
my god.
to All Church, and then
True.
have
So
the All Super Bowl.
Sorry,
Go
I have
ahead.
a question. With the Baroque naming convention, they talk about the numbers.
I was just
they
gonna
don't
say
talk
that.
about the days.
do you mean?
Is it
Seems like
closer to Sunday? Is but then somebody's
there's
Miss
not-
Valentine.
There's not a great for the
Valentine's
women. It is mostly holidays. There's one name from the women that I can think of right now that I don't understand how or why she's named that.
Have we met her yet?
But no. But so there's Miss Wednesday is Vivi, Miss All Sunday, and then
Miss Valentine.
Miss Valentine.
Miss
Yeah.
Monday.
Miss Monday.
Miss Monday.
I didn't know if there was like a convention of like
Oh, Miss
how that
Fri-
denotes rank, because or
think
unless
it's
all
who-
the Mister or
It
unless
seems
the
like
numbers are not
all the men are the
exclusively men.
days, and then all the
No.
women are the days, and all the men are
It
numbers.
seems like whoever whatever number they're partnered with, maybe that's their power. Like whatever the partner.
Yeah,
is, 'cause-
there is like a ranking, but I don't think there's a way to determine it.
I feel like they're all at the end of the day going to be chumps, except for maybe All Sunday and Crocodile, because he's a warlord. But everyone else so far, I mean, number 5, we got to 5.
Yeah.
And Valentine seems like a very important day. And they are trying, literally, they're like, hey, pay attention. This is really cool. My ability.
I did love that.
And
I love
the kilo fruit and the boom boom fruit. And they're like, hey, shut up. Mommy and daddy are talking right now. But
I really do like with things like the kilo fruit, which I think is a really interesting power set. And it's just like, cool. We have these interesting ideas, but they're just gonna be what they are, and we're not gonna spend a lot of time on them.
That's just how stands are, though.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
for real. Like that's what I told you guys.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, does this exist? So now it's like, oh, does this fruit exist?
you
Is
see
there
an
gonna be this
amazing
fruit?
stand ability, and then
But-
it's gone.
Yeah.
In comparison to JoJo, most stands that are introduced have at least a whole fight, where it's like Miss Kilo,
Yeah.
she did one move,
Uh-huh.
demonstrated her power, and then was out of the
Maybe
fight.
she'll
And
be
I
back.
liked it. I
She
liked
might
it.
be back.
I
She might
liked
be
it.
back.
I totally forgot.
Oh.
I told Josh this. I came up with a stand for myself
Yeah.
that I wanted to
Oh
pitch on the
my
podcast, but I
God.
forgot to do it.
Well,
Do it at the end of the
episode when we set
Yes.
expectations.
But yeah.
I wanted to talk a little bit about Whiskey Peak too.
Uh-huh.
Just the moment where, two things about it. The moment where we realize after they've partied, and then we realize that Igaram is working with the other 2 Baroque agents except we don't know it's Baroque works yet. And then Zoro comes out and he's like, I'm going to kill y'all. And then he's like, we're actually going to kill you. And we're going to add a tombstone to the cactus rocks.
Yeah.
That was
Dude,
cool. That was
I
sick.
already
Tombstone is
loved
fucking
the
awesome.
idea that there were just giant cactus. I
Yeah.
love the look of that. But to find out they're actually just like weird shaped cactus
That was
rocks
metal
with
as fuck.
tombstones as the
Yeah.
pines was just mwah.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Pretty
More of
cool.
that. More of that.
Yeah.
He keeps doing that.
The-
He keeps doing that.
The Grand Line, the East Blue, all the islands are like, this is an island. The Grand Line, pretty much every island we go to is like, this is an island and everything's upside down or something like that.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot.
Yeah.
It's sick. It's so sick. Also, I think before we talk about anything else, well, I should also say I am a big fan of how what I thought was going to be a boring fight turned into what seemed like
Nobody can hear that.
an appetite. Sorry, there was a huge sound.
What?
Sorry, one of the
What are you
boom
talking
mics fell over in the back. But what seemed like what was going to be a boring fight turned into what seems like an appetizer, where they just kind of power scaled Luffy and Zoro compared to all these other goons, right? Because they pretty much just like wiped the floor with them, but by the end it felt purposeful.
Yeah.
So that's what I appreciate. I don't know if y'all noticed, but the crew, the Straw Hat crew, these last two volumes, has just been on fire. Any of their like, just their family moments on the ship.
Yeah, the moment where they were all like chilling with Vivi, and she was just like, everybody's too chill right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, and she's like,
And I was
okay,
just like,
awesome.
they'll get this shit together when it's time. And then it
Yeah.
was time because the fucking dolphin, and you just see like
The
3
dolphin.
panels of everybody going, all right, cool, into places. And it's
Love
just like,
that.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Every time they do ship stuff, which has been a lot these last two volumes,
Yeah.
and then they get together and they get together
And they get
when
together.
when the
they get
Oh my
when they're
God,
doing
I just-
the cookout.
I just realized why the dolphin was so big.
Yeah.
Because it was like in the waters near Little Garden, which we should talk about Little Garden.
Little
Yeah.
Garden,
Talk about
briefly.
Little
We're gonna-
Garden.
yeah.
Amazing. Josh had me FaceTime him. Because Josh
Because he got
te-
scared. He got scared
Yeah,
of all the
he got
I
dinosaurs.
did,
Sorry.
and I wanted Adriana to protect me.
Josh texted in the chat, was like, Adriana's gonna love this chapter, and made me FaceTime him to read it because it's fucking Jurassic
Are
Park.
you a big dinosaur
Yeah.
person?
I mean, I'm
Adriana
not
loves anything lizards.
Yeah.
really good content. Jurassic Park, I love those movies. Also, one of my biggest fears growing up was dinosaurs, so it's a weird relationship in my head. But
Yeah.
it's a lot of interest there. But yes, it was the bird lizard, and I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, I could not believe my eyes. Also weird though, because they got there, they're like, here's some dinosaurs. And then they're like, we'll deal with you guys later. and then because there's a fucking giant guy.
There's 2 giants.
No one's addressing the dinosaurs anymore. He just chopped its head off.
Yeah.
And
I really
they're
like
eating it.
when Luffy's sitting on the top and he's like, don't worry, he only likes leaves. And then
Yes,
he just
and then
immediately
he-
gets swallowed.
Which he ended up having, it ended up having carnivore teeth, which is, yeah, but that's so fun. That's so funny.
And the way they use that to have Vivi establish that the Grand Line just, I guess the comm belt protected the Grand Line from the meteor shower that killed the dinosaurs.
You don't know what happened?
I don't know. But the point is,
Yeah.
each island develops so independently from the rest of the world
Which, yeah.
that it creates such insane circumstances every time you go. Which is so fucking exciting when you're already enjoying the Grand Line and we just got started with the journey.
Yeah.
Which is
Look
like
at giants.
giants,
Giants.
gigantism, which was from a surplus of oxygen, right? Yeah. Oxygen in the atmosphere. That's why everything was bigger.
Yeah.
And so I guess just that one part of the world still has that much oxygen, which is crazy.
Well, there's another island where all the giants are actually from.
Elbaf.
Yes, there's that too.
Which
yeah.
could be the next, because there's the eternal log
That
thing.
goes to Elbaf.
Yes.
Yeah, which is like, how else are they going to get
They're
anywhere?
getting the fuck off course, man. They're getting so off course.
Yeah.
But somebody poisoned the ale. with bombs.
with explosion.
Yeah.
So yeah, speaking of which, what did we think of Dory and Broggy?
I like them.
Broggy,
They were fun.
They're cute.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of any time where it's like, we've been fighting for so long, we don't even know what we're fighting about.
they're
And we're
just
also friends.
now.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
good friends.
Yeah. They seem to be having fun.
Yeah.
They seem happy, which is like good for them. Yeah.
I like when Luffy is eating with Dory, and Dory's like, "Hey, it's pretty good meat, huh?" And Luffy's like, "Yeah, if it wasn't, I'd smack the shit out of you." And Dory's like, "Oh, you're not bad, kid."
Is that what he said?
I thought he said like if you didn't like my lunch, like because he was like, oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
If you didn't
yeah.
like, because he had his little box
Yeah.
lunch too.
Oh yeah, right. Because Luffy gets he was gonna be
Yeah.
upset if he didn't like Sanji's.
He didn't like
cooking.
it. I'd smack the goddamn hell out of you.
Oh,
Now
also,
he's gonna smack the goddamn hell
Yeah.
out. of him.
Zoro and Sanji are starting up a little competition.
They
I was
are.
gonna say there was hints of it,
Is
but
this
now
edible?
I kind of had hints that they were gonna start doing that. Now it
Uh-huh.
seems like, even though they have fought together a lot so far, they are fundamentally very different people.
Yeah.
And
Hey, a Legolas Gimli relationship works in every
That's
form
funny.
of media, you know.
And I also, I'm excited. I saw like a clip from actually the live action show, which wow, we haven't even discussed that yet. Which we probably don't have time to do that. But
Yeah, later date.
where they added a scene in Arlong Park where like Luffy and Zoro and Sanji are having a little like pissing contest or something.
Yeah, they're fighting all the fishmen and they're arguing about like Sanji's like, "Hey, Luffy needs us, bruv," and Zoro's like, "Needs you? You're the fucking cook. Needs you to what? Put 2 loaves of bread together." And they're like kicking all these fishermen's ass. Basically, Zoro and Sanji want to kiss each other so bad,
Yeah,
but
they
they're
do.
too strong to even think about that.
Yeah.
If they kissed, their muscles would just go too crazy.
This goes back to kind of the crew synergy that's really being developed. I like how we had this little split off where Nami's like, holy fuck, okay, we're just going to wait here till the log post charges, and then we're going to get the fuck out. And Luffy's like, I have to stim. And he fucking goes, he's like, cook, prepare me a lunch. And then he heads off, and then Vivi, we get a little taste of how adventurous Vivi is as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
They split off.
Got it. It makes sense.
And then Sanji and Zoro have their little dick measuring contest, which takes them off the ship, which was really fun to see. And then we have Usopp and Nami, the cowards.
I always have been, I know I brought this up earlier, I'm always impressed how Oda separates the crew without it feeling like they're separating for no reason.
Yep.
Because it's like, if you had the crew together all the time, every single threat is nothing.
Like a Scooby-Doo type.
But yeah, they split
it's
up,
not-
but it always feels natural. And that's a really insanely hard thing to do while writing, is
And-
make splits feel natural.
And they're all doing it in accordance with the environment that they have now been introduced to, and they are reacting to the environment in a very character-driven and consistent way. It's so pleasing. I just love how Luffy is like, he gets the zoomies from how dangerous this place is when he sees a giant lizard bird and a giant tiger. And then Zoro's like, yeah, I'm gonna take a walk. Like none of that even fucking matters. He sees I said this in the chat, in our group chat, but this has my favorite panel so far. This one of the past chapters where Zoro
Looking at a triceratops.
looks at a triceratops and is like, "What is it? Is it edible?" Like, and the triceratops looks like it wants to fucking kill him.
Which,
This was really
so
fun.
funny.
It's a very fun 2 volumes. I wouldn't say it reached necessarily this. I think I liked the first of the 2 that we read more, but I have to say, if this is kind of the vibe on the lower stakes end of things, if this is how it's going to be, it's boding very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is definitely, we've got the rest of Little Garden and then the arc after this as well that we will be starting by the end of these chapters. Still in that kind of like low stakes, very fun train. And there's some really great storytelling, I think, that happens in both of these arcs. But then after that, we're going to start cooking. like Sanji does.
We didn't even mention Alabasta.
Yes, I
We
was
have
going
a
to say.
we have a goal to protect Vivi
Yeah.
and return her to
Just
her
cool.
kingdom.
We should probably close this out pretty soon, but
Yeah.
I would love to hear y'all's first thoughts on not just Alabasta, but on Nefertari Vivi, Princess of Alabasta.
Seems cool. She's definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm definitely. I'm a
just-
little suspicious, but I always
Really?
am because I feel
Yeah,
like
you don't know what the real vibe is.
Yeah, when it's like we had the most peaceful and
Yes.
most populated city in all of it. It's like
The
were
propaganda
you
of it all.
using
Yeah.
immense force to keep your citizens in check?
Oh.
I don't know, but that's just the way I.
But normally when they write stuff like that, it's like, oh, the nobility is, she's like out doing shit. So that
Yeah.
makes me think that it's probably not like one of those situations, because it's like, oh, if she actually just wanted to like the easy way out and just subdue all these people, I don't think she would be like out here going through all of this to
Yeah.
like.
As a princess, she went
yeah.
undercover
Yeah.
to try to take down.
I
Oh my
like
god, she like
Vivi.
Padme'd. Oh, that's
I
awesome.
really like Vivi.
She went Padme mode.
She went Padme mode.
I'm not sold that Alabaster is all it is.
Oh
saying
yeah,
Yeah.
no, there's
it is.
some mystery.
This
there,
is not a
for sure.
story where monarchies are like the good guys. That is very
also-
much the
Well, yeah.
Why does Baroque want? I guess it's just probably a profitable point. of
Baroque.
land.
Literally, well, one, it's run by one of the warlords who's
Yeah.
probably not a good guy, and two, literally number 3, Mr. 3, who we meet at the end. I think the final chapter we have here, literally just refers to them as an evil organization. He literally is just like,
Yes, I know.
yeah, the powers of evil on for everyone. He literally Dr. Evils the whole thing. So it's like,
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a case of like a good intention turned into a bad cause with the in terms of what created Baroque works. You have people who are well intentioned, who are being run by tyrants like the crocodile guy, and then you have monarchy which has good people like Viv, who just are unaware of just how shitty the monarchy is.
We don't know anything. I don't know why
don't
you're
know-
like just assuming that the monarchy's fucked up. Like we don't know anything yet.
Adriana loves the queen.
I'm just
Adriana
I'm
loves the
just
queen.
saying, like, this is a fictional world.
This is real.
Yeah.
You know, like
this is a fantasy, so in a fantasy, there could be kings that are good.
I'm
Nah.
not
'Cause it's
saying like
fantasy.
kings are. I'm just saying like you don't know how their their system is set up or anything, just because
Yeah.
you know.
Adriana's pro monarchy,
Mhm. Yeah, actually.
This
yeah.
is not surprising to me.
and not even like a democratic monarchy.
Nope.
You are writing on a
Yep.
sign right now,
Yeah.
saying get rid of the prime minister.
Yeah. Pretty much.
With that, we have a very small taste of Vivi. We've not seen a
Yeah.
whole lot of.
Yeah.
I think my kind of guess, Oda is usually very, very planned and very like. Usually he knows what he's going for way ahead of the time. I don't think Miss Wednesday was always supposed to be
Yeah.
a princess.
You know what?
Really?
It
That
kind of
felt like a pivot
It
to me.
kind of felt like he was like, I gotta find a way to pivot this story real
make
fast.
this just a dumb like damsel in distress type
Yeah.
insert character to save here. You know,
Vivi-
it makes it more interesting.
Yeah, Vivi felt really big about the Baroque works thing, and clearly now, obviously, from going forward, it's clearly established. She was doing the whaling business to help the village to blend in with Baroque works.
Yeah.
Right? That is what is established.
Yeah.
But in the moment, it was kind of written like she was all about that shit.
Like it
Same
definitely
thing with
tracks. It
Igarash.
doesn't like contradict.
Yeah.
But it's still. I am kind of like. I don't know. I don't know if Odo always thought that was going to be the case.
Yeah.
But we'll close this out real quick. I'm gonna be so mad at myself if I don't just say
Yeah.
Karoo.
Karoo.
the
Karoo.
duck.
Oh, the duck.
Yeah,
Karoo.
she's got a little duck she
Love
rides around.
that.
I'd eat it. I'd eat
And
it.
Karoo, we don't get a whole lot of it. Karoo's a scaredy cat. Like
Yeah, I can
He's
see
afraid
that.
of stuff.
Crew's got a
So
lot of
cute.
personality,
Very
and
cute.
I
And
Karoo
Sanji
will
gives him
protect me.
a little cup. He gives him one of those little doggy neck barrel things. Which I
Karoo's
like.
really cute.
I want one of those.
Karoo or the neck.
The neck thingy.
Yeah.
I want to just be able to look down and eat.
I think you can already do that.
well, so you've set our expectations for One Piece.
Yes.
We should set your expectations for Jojo.
Yeah.
Didn't we already?
How many episodes do you watch?
The
How
next
many episodes
episode
watch?
is
Clayton, watch how many?
So
Clayton, how many?
Clayton, you will watch at least the next 3 episodes, which will then bring you to where you left off. This will be the whatchamacallit. This will be strength, which you will remember very vividly.
Yes.
Clayton's favorite character.
Ebony Devil, which you probably will be like, what? I don't even remember this at all.
I don't know what the fuck what you are even saying.
And Yellow Temperance. And if you want, I can totally adjust the schedule. If we want to talk about more, I'd honestly, after this episode, I don't think we really need to.
Yeah.
Because we covered so much just about 3 episodes.
Yeah.
But if you want to, you can then watch the next 2 episodes. And I can adjust based off that.
I think I would love to max out at 3 fights, however many episodes that ends up being.
That would be, so if you were to watch the next 2 episodes after, that would be 4 fights. But 7, 8, and 9. Watch 7, 8, 9. That's 3 fights. And then after that, your serving size will start to get bigger.
Hell yeah.
So I hope you're hungry.
Exciting.
I actually am really excited to talk about the next 3 episodes, mainly the last of the 3. Because there's some very famous memes are come from that specific episode.
All right. Kekuin goes...
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
great noise to
We're
make
all
on a
going to do that.
microphone.
I'm going to bring cherries next week.
We are
going to do it.
Into the mic.
Adrian's going to start, and then Adrian's going to finish.
This was a mistake. This whole operation.
Kill the part that cringes.
Do y'all want to hear what my stand would be?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so my stand, it's a long-range stand. And basically what it can do
is pee other people's pants.
Pee other people's pants.
How did you know?
So what it is it's its hands can like stretch out and it can slither around and it go through walls and stuff. And what it does.
Wait, like through like phase through them or like in between like cracks and shit?
You think like a Fantastic Four like
it can
movie.
get like flat Stanley level and like crawls through
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
but not phase through stuff.
Okay.
And what you do with it, what it does is it does this. For the people at home, I'm doing the little like OK symbol where you put it on your leg, and if somebody looks at it, you get to punch them. And if you look at it, it can't come into your field of vision. But if you look at it, you get hit on the head with a baseball bat.
That actually, like the base structure of that is very
if
accurate.
Iraqi were an American millennial, he would have run. I guarantee
like a part 9.
he would have. No, honestly, it seems like a part 4 stand.
No,
like you're not honestly.
You do that fight right. You're going through. They figure out to smite you a little bit, and then you push them into a hall of mirrors, and then a million baseball bats. It's just
Listen. That is, I'm impressed because, you've only met a handful of stands, and they are all the most simple stands in JoJo. So the fact that you were able to come up with something that feels like something Iraqi would write later, is impressive. I'm curious to see how you will. I'm curious to see how that will change as you go on.
Yes, the name for it is Candy Coated Fury, based off of my favorite Real Big Fish album.
Yeah.
Awesome.
How do you know that stands are named after music?
I know that.
I know this.
Yeah, we actually.
It is known.
I know
when
this.
we have more time, or when we get to part 4, I think it'd be fun to start off by talking about our stands.
I would love.
I could not do that because
at least making names.
I have that down.
Yeah,
but
I got names. Yeah.
but in terms of stand abilities, I'm at that point where I'm like, no one can do it but Iraqi.
Hey.
No one can do it but Iraqi.
That's no fun. Anyway,
you got months to come up with it.
I've had years, and
Yeah.
I can never. I came up with a stand for Adriana.
Yeah.
And then I commissioned it to be drawn
for my birthday.
Whoa, that's so
pretty
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Yeah. Okay.
we will get to that at some point when we can talk about it.
I'll
Hell
show
yeah.
y'all
Like,
after we stop recording.
Hell yeah.
But with that, we've been Straw Hat Crusaders. Thank you so much for listening.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we
And we
love you.
Love you.
Good
Good
night.